At the end of this video, we will tell you about the fight that shocked even Mike Tyson himself. After all, his student, who was the undefeated champion, went to the duel. And first, we want to tell you a little about Kostya Tszyu, with whom the student of Iron Mike entered the ring. Konstantin, or, as everyone knows him, Kostya Tszyu, is the only Russian included in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, where his name is on a par with Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Oscar de la Hoya and many others. Even the famous Evander Holyfield is not in this hall, but Kostya is. Kostya is a legend of world boxing, both at the amateur and professional level. In the amateur ring, he fought 282 fights, 270 of which he won. In the professional ring, he fought 34 fights, of which 31 won, 25 of them won by knockout. On March 1, 1991, for the first time in his life, he entered the professional ring. His opponent was the champion of the Australian state of Kinsland, Darrell Hiles, who at that time did not have a single defeat on his record. The fight took place outdoors in Melbourne, and the vaunted Australian champion did not last 2 minutes against Tszyu. The fight had to be stopped so that Kostya would not simply kill the opponent with his lightning strikes. On November 11, 1992, Tszyu's opponent was a strong Puerto Rican fighter Sammy Fuentayes. Against Kostya Tszyu, the Puerto Rican did not last even a minute. In a good way, the knockout should have been counted already at the 30th second of the fight, when Sammy, on staggering legs, tried to convince the referee counting the knockdown that he was able to continue the fight. Continued, and lay down a few more seconds later, almost flying out of the ring. In just a year and a half after winning his first title fight in the professional ring, Kostya managed to hold 3 title defenses at once. But the most spectacular was the fight against the South African contender for the championship belt Jan-Piet Bergman, which took place on September 16, 1996 in the Australian city of Newcastle. Kostya had the advantage throughout the fight, but he really began to implement it in the usual manner only in the 6th round. First, he almost sent the opponent over the ropes with a powerful left blow. When he imprudently came to his senses, Tszyu struck him with such force that Bergman simply collapsed flat on the rig, where he remained lying motionless. Tszyu had already stopped celebrating the victory and left the battlefield, and his opponent in his corner was still being brought to his senses. On July 29, 2000, Tszyu defeated a very experienced and authoritative boxer, Julio Cesar Chavez, thanks to a spectacular blow to the head at the beginning of the 6th round. After that, Chavez fell to all fours, but found the strength to get up, continue the fight and even hold out for a couple more minutes. But at the end of the round, Kostya pressed his opponent to the ropes and finally secured a well-deserved victory. A refight with an extravagant American, Sharmba Mitchell, which took place on November 6, 2004, proved the complete superiority of Kostya. The first meeting of these rivals was interrupted due to Sharmba's leg injury, but in the rematch, Tszyu arranged a real beating of the opponent. The most beautiful was the left cross to the jaw at the beginning of the 3rd round, after which Mitchell collapsed to the floor, managed to get up, but, as the further course of the fight showed, he did not recover after this episode. In November 2001, a fight for the title of absolute champion in the first welterweight took place between the Russian fighter Konstantin Tszyu and the American, a student of the great Mike Tyson, Zab Judah. Before the fight, most experts gave preference to Zab Judah, who, being 8 years younger than Tszyu, did not suffer a single defeat in his career. Judah is an excellent southpaw puncher who came into the fight against Tszyu with a record of 27-0, 20 knockouts. The American was confident in his victory, declaring that he would make Swiss cheese out of Tszyu. The presence of a serious retinue, led by Mike Tyson himself, added confidence to the American. Tszyu did not succumb to provocations, and at one of the press conferences he asked the enemy, "How's your destiny?" Beating the name of Judah's newborn daughter, Destiny, and discouraging the opponent, after which he added, "And this fight is my destiny." The fight took place in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, and Tszyu was a noticeable underdog in the bookmakers' line. In the last seconds of the second 3 minutes, Kostya cornered the American and landed an excellent straight from the right. Judah felt the blow and fussed, but Tszyu got to him with another straight and knocked out his opponent. Judah immediately stood up reflexively, but his legs obviously did not obey. The loss of the favorite turned out to be comical, and Judah was hysterical for a long time about the fact that the referee stopped the fight. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to our channel about fighters. Thank you for watching.
Hey Kostya Tszyu, what's up, buddy?
We're again in Chelyabinsk.
Chelyabinsk.
Yes, last time we put the first brick here.
Yeah.
Now it's amazing store.
It looks great.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Chelyabinsk.
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 Great pronunciation.
It looks like it's just